was one of the old songs that Uncle Dave Macon wrote. And I was very lucky to meet up with the family. I'll never forget how that happened. I was at John Rice Irwin's Museum of Appalachia near Clintonville. They call it Norris, Tennessee, a little place there. Really, it's actually at Clintonville. And John Rice had moved in. We became great friends. We had similar interests. He had moved in many log houses and buildings and created this wonderful historical village. It's still there. Their big thing goes on this weekend. I'm going into North Carolina to a similar thing at another place. But John Rice Irwin had this Museum of Appalachia, and I met up with him in '81 and started playing down there for his 4 or 5 day festival. And I don't know how many acres he had there, 70, 80 acres with every kind of log building, and he had people, dressed in costume and arts and crafts. Archie Campbell used to come. He was a wonderful fellow. Archie Campbell used to do the Hee Haw series. Good story, a couple about him. But anyway, I was down there playing music, and I was sitting around one day playing. And this fellow was really listening intently to me playing. And I was playing some Uncle Dave stuff, and he said, I looked at him, I said, he's old enough to remember. And we're right here in Tennessee. I wasn't in Middle Tennessee, but I was here in Eastern. And I said to him, I said, you look like did you ever hear Uncle Dave Macon play the banjo or any, go to the opera? He said he was my grandfather. And so that I met him there in '85. So he said, I would like for you to come down and stay with me. His wife had this wonderful lady, Edna, his wife. She collected pocket knives and fancy ink pens. And boy, she was a student of it. She could tell you every brand of ink pen or pocket knife. She knew all the historical aspects of all this stuff. So we had a lot in common. I was interested in this. I had a lot of old ink pens, didn't know much about them, but I had a lot of pocket knives too. So anyway, I went down and spent a week with them in Greenbrier, Tennessee. They lived in there. They eventually moved to Owensboro, and now Dave, the grandson, Dave Macon the second, still lives in Owensboro. His health isn't good. But anyway, I stayed a week with him in Greenbrier, Tennessee. And I got to meet Uncle Dave's son, Eston. He was the only one living at that time. All of them were dead. Doris, that played with Uncle Dave, committed suicide. A lot of people don't know that. And it wasn't too long before I had met up with the family. So anyway, I got to quiz Uncle Dave's last living son, who was a Methodist minister, about his dad. And I had a good time visiting. We went out and looked for some archives they had there. I was kind of disappointed. The Country Music Hall of Fame at the time hardly had anything on Uncle Dave. And I've made quite a collection of memorabilia. I've brought a big book. I've shared it with the family. I've got a lot of things the family don't even have. And there's a grandson who was a West Point graduate and big colonel or something in the Army. He's doing like a definitive book on Uncle Dave Macon. And I spent a good bit of time with him a couple of years ago and loaned him everything that I had found, and things that people had given me, some personal things. But this is one Uncle Dave did. And Uncle Dave was really cute. He was quite an entertainer, and he liked to do little impromptu on his records. Those old '78 records, they typically went for about 2.5 minutes or something. So he had to know how long to play and how long not to play. And so he would do little introductions. And this one I always liked it. He'd say, "Now, folks," he says, "I live with my mother-in-law's daughter, 40 miles from Nashville, Tennessee, and I've been all around Nashville, both in and out. I've heard a heap and I've seen her right smart. And I'm going to sing to you about it in this little song." Now the girls are all sweet around Nashville. Oh, the girls are all sweet down in Nashville. Why, the girls are all sweet and they dress up so neat, but they have such great big feet. down in Nashville. Why they grow potatoes small down in Nashville? Oh, they grow potatoes small down in Nashville. Why they grow potatoes small and they eat them skin and all. Then they, what do they do? Oh, they grow potatoes small and they dig them in the fall. Then they eat them skin and all down in Nashville. Chew tobacco thin down in Nashville. Oh, they chew tobacco thin round Nashville. Why they chew tobacco thin and it runs down on their chin. Then they lick it in again down in Nashville. Was elected down in Nashville. Herbert Hoover was elected down in Nashville. Herbert Hoover was elected. Al Smith, he was rejected, but he's mighty highly respected down in Nashville. To get a drink down in Nashville. If you want to get a drink down in Nashville. If you want to get a drink, give a Democrat a wink, and you'll get one quick as you think down in Nashville. Now the girls dress knee-high around Nashville. Oh, the girls dress knee-high around Nashville. Why, the girls dress knee-high, and as they go walking by, oh, it makes the old men cry down in Nashville.